So we have seen the effort, what is an effort, and we are trying to understand the primary effort and the secondary effort, which are also called internal effort and the external effort respectively. So now to keep it simple, the internal effort or the primary effort is the one which is needed between sthanam and karanam. Okay. So I guess we are mostly familiar with the sthanam of most of the letters now which are on the chart of letters. So we looked at 13 swaras, which I'm going to show it here. 13 swaras, right? A, E, E, U, U. When we skipped the U and the 1, 3 in the middle, then A, I, O, O. So those 10, the sthana and karana instrument, which we are familiar, I guess. All of you are familiar with that. And then the sthana karana of this first 25 vyanjanams or consonants, which are shown here in this 5 by 5 grid or the matrix here. The sthanam and karanam. So the effort needed, the effort or the step needed between the sthanam and karanam is the primary effort. Now the primary effort is like this. Primary effort, remember, this primary effort happens where? In which part of the mouth? Oral cavity. It happens in the oral cavity, right? In the sthana, all the sthanas and positions are here. Okay? They are in the oral cavity. They are not outside the oral cavity. So the contact or no contact or approach between the sthanam and karanam, the interaction between the position and the actuator happens in this area or in this cavity. So this is internal to that cavity. That's why it is called internal effort or abhyantara prayatna. Abhyantara means internal. Internal to what? Internal to this cavity. So that is why it is called internal or abhyantara prayatna. Now there are types of prayatnas. These abhyantara prayatnas, the contact between the sthanam and position and the actuator, there can be different types. The sprishta, the first one is sprishta, which we are seeing here. The contact happens between the sthanam and the karanam when for these 25 consonants, correct? For these 25 consonants, the actuator must contact the sthanam. So this is one type of internal effort. Okay, so there should not be any doubt about it. If there is any doubt, please ask about the sprishta prayatna. Sprishta abhyantara prayatna means contact or the touch which happens. That is one type of internal effort. And then there is another type of effort which happens in that cavity when we are pronouncing those.
What is the RST?
Huh?
What is the RST?
No, this is just a transliteration of sprishta. Sprishta is written in English letters like that. If you can read Devanagari, you don't need to read this. That is a transliteration in the transliteration scheme, which is called Roman IAST. So you can go Google and find out Roman IAST transliteration scheme. So how to write Devanagari letters or different sounds in using English letters. So these are the English letters. You write the same thing. So sprishta is one type, and then the other one we have seen is while pronouncing the swaras, the the vowels, the 10 vowels we saw, they do not need any contact. So that type of effort, internal effort, is called vivrata. So there, the actuator, what happens? The actuator, it does modulate the air gap between the actuator and the position. There is a modulation. The air is a little bit compressed while we are pronouncing different vowels, and it is modulated. So there is some modulation, but there is no contact between the sthana and the karana. So that type of effort is called vivrata. So these are the two extreme ones, right? One is prishta, where the complete contact is needed. The other one is called vivrata, where there is no contact at all. So the no contact at all is all the vowels, and the complete contact is all those 25 these 25 consonants here, vyanjanams. Now the rest of the consonants and rest of the swaras also we will see, we'll look at them. But before that, there are questions about the external effort. Now note that when we say sthanam and karanam have to interact with each other to produce either a vowel or a consonant. For example, you take a consonant, say, why I am taking the example of consonant, it is easier to understand. So here, example, let's say, take this example of, so anyways, let's say ka, or let's not, ka is not that good example. So because it can take that, but the only thing, the sthanam is way back inside, and the karanam is also jufa mula, root of the tongue. So it is difficult to understand that. So let's take this one, cha. So here what happens is the sthanam is talu, palate, and the jufa madhya is the middle or the middle top of the surface of the tongue, is the top surface of the tongue is the karana. So if we want to pronounce cha, so now sthana karana, internal effort is contact. So that is the effort we have to make between the sthana and karana. So when we touch bring the jufa madhya, the top of your tongue, and touch that talu part. So as if you are saying this, like in the chat, in the English word chat. So the first one cha, or in the Sanskrit word chamasa, the first syllable cha. So we want to pronounce that. So this says sthana and karana is this. So if you just touch it and keep it there, no sound is heard, right? There is no sound is heard. You are just touching the this jufa madhya to this talu, and what else has to be done there? That is the question now. So for any of the consonants here, so for example, say dantamula jufagra, this is the sthana and karana for ta. So if you want to say ta-ma, let's say tama. So ta, in this first one we want to say ta, so this says dantamula. To this you take this jufagra, tip of the tongue, and touch it there. Then what happens? Nothing comes out, right? There is the first internal effort is being done between the sthanam and karanam, but the sound is not coming out. Okay? Adding the swara is a different process, but even before that, the sound of ta has to be there. The sound of added to the ta is a different question. But before that, even the sound of ta itself, this ta, the vyanjana ta, has its own sound, right? Any vyanjana has its own sound, ka, ta, tha. So these sounds have their own sthana and karana, right? That is for ta, the tip of the tongue has to touch the back of the teeth here. So when you touch, that touch itself is not enough. That is the primary effort. Now we need a secondary effort. That is the secondary effort to sound it. Okay? To sound it. So just the primary effort is not enough. Abhyantara prayatna happening in the cavity is just not enough. The secondary effort is now important. That comes into picture. Now, what is the secondary effort saying now? Now, where is the secondary effort? Here. Now, secondary effort or external effort, abhyantara prayatna. What is it called? Not abhyantara. Bhahya prayatna. Bhahya prayatna. I should have written it here. Bhahya prayatna means external. Bhahya prayatna or external. So this external or Bhahya prayatna has to happen. Now, which is obvious here. Now, if you look at this picture, the internal effort or the Abhyantar prayatna is happening here, and Bhahya prayatna, which is external to this area, outside this area. That's why it's called Bhahya prayatna. That is happening where to produce the sound, now we will have to involve our vocal cords here, this part. That is why this is external, outside the area of this cavity, oral cavity. That's why it is external. So I think it should be easy to understand. So that's why this is called internal effort and this is called external effort. Abhyantara prayatna, Bhahya prayatna. Bhahya, external to the area, this cavity. So here what is happening now? So this we have to understand here. What is happening now? Now, for example, if you want to say ta sound. So either here ta or any of the consonants. So here we will have to either compress the oral, this area, the throat area, the throat pipe here, or we will have to relax it. And when we compress it, what happens? The vocal cords, they vibrate. Vocal cords, they vibrate. Vocal cords obviously vibrate, but when they vibrate for different consonants, different effects are produced. Different types of sounds are produced. Now, when anything, like when you take a windpipe, when it is compressed and then the air passes, then vibration is, the frequency is high here. You can hear the resonating sound there. But when it is relaxed, when the pipe is relaxed, the air can freely pass through it, and there will not be that much vibration. So it is like, so that resonating sound is not heard there. So there are two types of efforts here, basically. Two types of efforts here, or two groups of efforts. So one is when the pipe is compressed. When the pipe is compressed, the vocal cords are going to vibrate, have a high pitch here, vibrate, and then we are going to hear a resonating sound. So this group, or these three steps, steps are called, one is samvara. Samvara means compression. So that is what is written on the slide here, which is external. External. As you see here, one is samvara. When the samvara means compression, when that vocal, the throat area is compressed, then what happens? There is a nada. Nada means the frequency or the vocal cords, they are going to vibrate. And when they vibrate, ghosha is heard. Ghosha means the reverberation. I don't know the exact translation, but I'm trying. So reverberation, a ghosha sound is heard there. So this is a samvara, is an effort which leads to the vibration of the cords there. and which produces the ghosha or the reverberation sound. So this this is like you can compare this to a coin hitting a metal. If you take a coin, hit a metal surface, then you hear that resonating sound or reverberating sound there. Whereas the other one, if the vocal cords are relaxed, air passes through, air doesn't hit here, and that because of that the vibrations are not there, and because of that there is no reverberating sound, there is no resonating sound. So that's why this is another group. So that is vivara, which is expanded vocal cords area, and because of that there is just a shwasa, means the breath can pass through, there is no vibration, just the air passes through, and because of that there is no reverberating sound. So that absence of that reverberating sound is called aghosha. Ghosha, the opposite of ghosha is aghosha. So this is one set. So there are two sets here. So though they are counted here as the separate external efforts, the external efforts are listed like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 3 more. But so they are counted here separately. But basically these are sets. Actually these 3, not those 3. These 3, vivara, because of expansion, shwasa, breath, and because of that aghosha, there is no reverberation. So this is one set. So the consonants belong to either one of these sets, either this or that. So either there will be vivara, shwasa and aghosha, or there will be samvara, nada and ghosha. So one of these sets. Yeah. So which are these sets? So this one, the vivara, shwasa, aghosha, you can compare it to the coin hitting a wooden surface, like a table or something, so where the sound comes out, but there is no reverberating sound. It's like a muted. Okay? So I'm hitting my table here. So that is a muted sound. So which one of these in this list here? Let's take those first 5, this 5 by 5 matrix. The first 2 are muted. These are the aghosha. First 2 are the muted ones. So what happens here? Vivara, shwasa and aghosha. Because of the expansion, there is a shwasa, and because of shwasa, there is no reverberating sound. This ka, kha. And last 3, they have the reverberating sound. Okay? To produce that reverberating sound, the vocal, that area has to compress. It has to squeeze there. So this set, these 3, these 3 columns, they fall in that samvara, nada, ghosha. So how do you understand that? Again, you can hold your, you can surround your throat with your fingers. They can experience when you say k, k, k. So that when you say k or t, t, t and the, t, is this one in the first column, and the is in the third column. When you say t and the, there is a difference. When you say t, when you say the, especially the, you can hear the vibrations passing through your fingers. The. When you say t, it's like a hitting the wooden table, where the sound is like a muted there. T, t, the. So same thing with this. with these three here. So that they are the Samvara Nada Ghosha, which have the resonating sound, the resonating, vibrating sound. Okay. So that is the difference between the internal effort and the external effort. Bahya Prayatna, Abhyantara Prayatna. Abhyantara Prayatna, one which happens in this area. Bahya Prayatna, which happens outside. Any questions? Karta Mahodaya, any questions to this area?
Yeah, I understood. I understood this, and there is a close relationship with the resonance and the vocal cord.
Yeah.
Actually, resonance is occur when the vocal cord is vibration. That is resonance. That is what now I understood, and that is for certain ga, che, I feel that resonance.
Yes, yes. These three columns, resonance is distinct, different than these two.
Yes, yes. Now I particularly note it, and I understood, sir.
Yeah. So what happens is, like, sometimes when we are pronouncing this, the first two, many times what happens that the air passes through the nose, which should not actually, technically, I mean, theoretically speaking, it should not. But when it sometimes when it passes through the nose, we feel like they are also resonating, which is technically not correct. Yeah? When you say ka, ka, so that becomes nasal ka. So that should not happen when you are pronouncing the pure ka. Yeah? When it is pure ka, there is no nasal sound, there is no vibration there. Yeah? Okay, so now moving on to the.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I understood all these things, but one thing is even when we say swara like but when we say there is no vibration, but we say for an extended period, it feels like there is a vibration. Is that something that is an outcome of some other cause or something else? Like we keep saying then at some point we start feeling the vibration.
Yeah, because it turns into a sound there. It's not. It doesn't remain It's like saying Om. It's saying Om. Like, so that changes to the anuswara or some nada sound there. If you're just saying a short there is no vibration. Anyway, so these external efforts. One more thing, the external efforts here, Bahya Prayatna, these are applicable to only consonants, the ones which are shown here. The Vivara, Samvara, Aghosha, Ghosha, Shwasanada, Alpaprana, Mahaprana, these are applicable, or these are categories only for the consonants, not for the swaras. For swaras, we have the internal efforts here, which is Vivrata. Basically, they are all Vivratas only. They are open. Sorry, not that one. This one, Vivrata, open. Because for external, for a Bahya Prayatna, this Vivara Samvara and more breath or less breath, as in this Alpa Prana and Mahaprana, they are not applicable to, I mean, they have no relevance for the swaras. But there are three more Bahya Prayatna, which we'll see later, not maybe a different class, which are applicable.
Alpa Prana, Mahaprana. Alpa Prana, Mahaprana.
Yeah. There are three more which are applicable only to the swaras, which we'll see later. No? In the class. Now, Mahaprana, Alpa Prana, which we have seen some time back, last I think. So, Mahaprana, Alpa Prana is So when we said that ka, kha, both they fall in the vivara, shvasa, aghosha. So when both of them ka, kha fall in the same bahya prayatna and their internal effort is also, abhyantar prayatna is also same, then what is how are they different? They are differentiated by the next external effort. There is another external effort called alpa prana, maha prana. Right? So because of that, the difference between ka and kha can be felt. Otherwise, if everything, internal effort is also same, external effort is also same, then there is no point in making them two different sounds. So what is the difference? This one is alpa prana, this one is maha prana. So ka, this, when you say after the sthana and karana touches these two, then the external effort, bahya prayatna, starts happening basically, right? First, remember that another difference between the internal effort and the external effort. One is that the internal effort happens in the cavity, external effort happens outside the cavity, but also internal effort has to happen first. First the contact has to happen. So when we want to say ka, the contact is happening somewhere here, so it has to happen. Then this effort, secondary effort, will take place. So obviously, because it is happening so fast, we may not realize it. But if we really go slow motion, in the sense actual ucharanam, we may not be able to do slow motion. But because when we do slow motion, everything gets disturbed there. The sound gets different. But if we really capture the waves and expand it in using an instrument like some CRT monitor or something, then we will be able to see what is happening first, what is happening, the sequence. So the contact will happen first, then the secondary effort. That is why they are also called primary and secondary. Primary is the first which is happening, the touch is happening. Then the secondary effort, the bahya prayatna, is following it. So the other, these vibrations, everything, that is also following. Then what else is happening there? Alpa prana, maha prana. So we are putting either less breath or high breath to produce that sound. So to produce the first two, the letters in the first two columns, we need in the first column we need less breath, ka. But to produce the letter in the second column, we have to force the breath out of that throat. Ka. So remember again, the contact is happening first, and all the external efforts, bahya prayatna, is happening next. Ka. So ka. Similarly, all these columns are having the alpa prana, less breath, and this is having maha prana. And here also, the third column having alpa prana, fourth column having maha prana, fifth column is again alpa prana. This is available on my notes document, which is alpa prana, maha prana, etc. So these columns, headings are available there. You can look up the document later. Moving on to this one, which are separately kept here, yara, lava, which are pronounced like that, and sha, sha, saha. Let's take this. Mute, please. You have to go again, requesting to mute. Once your question is answered, please mute. Okay. Ya, ra, la, va. The first one, ya. Now, why are they kept separate? So, if we take this one, this line, ya, ra, la, va, here, as you pronounce, for example, ya, the Sanskrit example is, what is the word with the ya? Yama. Yama. Yama.
Yama.
Or English word is
Yach.
Yach or yak. Or yes. Yes. So here, yeah. Now, you might think that where is the touch here? There is no touch as it is happening in these 5 by 5 first 25 consonants. However, there is a touch, but there is a light touch. There is a light. There's not these first 25. These are hard stops. These are also called in English the hard stops. In Sanskrit, we are calling them sprishta. Sprishta means touch, contact. Contact means complete contact. Whereas in ya and also the other three here, ra, la, va, there is no complete contact. For example, if you take yes, ya, yak, there is no complete contact, but there is no complete non-contact also as it is in the swaras, as in the vowels. So what is happening here? There is a medium. It's in between. So what is touching what here? In between means what? What is touching what? When we pronounce ya, you can feel that the sides of your tongue, it is touching ya. It is trying to touch the talu part there. Yeah. So somebody, I think in one of the earlier classes, there was saying that when we pronounce E, there is a touch. E, which is a vowel. E, which is a vowel here. When you pronounce, somebody was saying there is looks like there is a touch there. But this E should not be a touch. Whereas ya, there is a similar touch there. So ya, which there is a similar effort, but there is a slight touch. So what is happening here? Ya, if you can find. That's why in English alphabets also, Y is not considered a vowel, right? Whereas I is considered as a vowel, but Y is considered a consonant. Y means what? Y sound is considered a vowel in English also. Why is it considered vowel? In English also we have only A, E, I, O, U, right? As a vowels. Means what? Not exactly the alphabet. Their sounds. The sound of A, sound of E, sound of I, sound of O, sound of U. Remember, that's why when we say our also, though it starts with H, because there is a sound there, we write an hour, right? An hour. We say an hour, not a hour. Why? Because the sound is vowel here. So it all depends on the sound. So in English also, Y is considered a consonant for the same reason, because there is a slight touch there. So what is that sthanam here? The sthanam and karanam is similar to E. Yeah, similar to E only. So we can actually write the ya here. Ya here. This ya, we can bring it here in this line. Ya, sthanam and karanam is same as this the vowel E or cha, cha, ja, jha, ya. The sthanam and karanam is same. But what is different here? What is different compared to these 5? There is no complete contact. Ya, we are saying ya. Ya, the sides of the jufa or the tongue, they are touching the talu, slight touch, but there is no complete contact. So there is a different type of internal effort or abhyantara prayatna. Okay. So if we look at the slide, so this is Ishat Strushta. So we are slight contact. So we are classifying them separately. Okay. Internal effort is different here. there is no complete contact. Internal effort is different. So I am putting it as Ishat Sprishta as the Abhyantara Prayatna. Ishat means slight. Sprishta you already know. Sprishta is contact. Ishat is slight, little. Slight contact is Ishat Sprishta. So we are putting the ya here. Yeah. Let me see if I can just type it. Okay, yeah. I'll just do it. Copy paste. Yeah. Agreed? So we put the Ishat Sprishta. This is Ishat Sprishta, or slight contact. And what is the other external effort now? Well, let's look at the what type of external effort it needs. Yeah. Again, if you feel this ya also has a nada, the vibration is there, ghosha is there. You can feel those vibrations. Yeah. It's not muted. So it falls under samvara nada ghosha. So just like the last three, gaghanga, these are samvara nada ghosha. So in the same category of bahya prayatna, ya also falls there. Samvara, because it is samvara, nada ghosha automatically have to be there. So it's always a set. Samvara nada ghosha, they do not separate ever. Samvara nada ghosha and vivara shwasa aghosha, they are always together, three together in each set. So ya is samvara nada ghosha. Okay. And then what happens now? Yeah, is the ya clear? Okay, I guess. Now ra. Ra is also, what is this? Ra is like saying rat. So this ra, the position is murdha here. Position is murdha. So I'll just copy it here. Ra, position is murdha here. Sanskrit shabda, Sanskritava, what is the ra? Rama. Yes. Simple one. You can say Rama also, Rama. Rama. Ra. Here the position is murdha. Ra. Just like ta, saying ta, tha, da, dhana. Ra. Pariveshta, the underside of the tongue. Tip, reversed. Touching the murdha is the position for the ra. And that is the abhyantara prayatna. And bahya prayatna, what is the bahya prayatna? It also same. This bahya prayatna also is samvara nada ghosha, because there is a reverberation, sound is heard. And la, what is la? Ra also, this is also ishat prishta. The sthana karana is there, but the internal left abhyantara prayatna is ishat prishta, just like ya. And la, where is the la falling? La also ishat prishta, no complete touch like ta, tha, da, dhana. La, there is slight gap there, ishat prishta. So the la also is in the same line here. Dantamula Juffagra is the sthana and karana, like tathadadhana, but the internal abhyantara prayatna is ishat sprishta, slight contact, and then bahya prayatna is similar to, still there is a ghosha, la. There is a ghosha is heard, so we have samvara nada ghosha. Samvara nada ghosha. And what about va now? Va. again this feels like there is where is the touch here. So it is like saying ooh, right? Obviously, va, as you can experience, what is the example for va? Like Sanskrit word, Sanskrit shabda va. What is the Sanskrit shabda va? Vana. Let's say vana. Vana means forest. And English, there is a confusion, or this one is better pronounced as if it is like a water, okay, rather than van. In van there is a little bit how is the van, but the water sound there is no. Okay. Water sound there is no va, there is no ha there. So this is better suited, the va sound here better suited with the W sound, water. Again, note that W in English also it comes as a consonant, not a vowel. Whereas this word to pronounce this in water, there is lips are involved, obviously, right? When we say va, there is no other sthana and karana in the vocal cavity, right? It is not, juha is not touching anywhere, tongue is not touching anywhere. So we are just using the lips here. So there is, this is similar to what is the sthana and in the vowel, in the list of the vowels, which one has the sthana for, I want to unmute, but please keep, once your whatever I want to say is clear, please keep yourself muted, otherwise it will be disturbance. So here, as we know, the stha and karana for the vowel, the lips is this oo. Oo and oo, they have the stha and karana of lips. So similarly, va also has the lips as the stha and karana, same thing. So here, if I write, I'm going to copy it. Here. Ostha means upper lip, lower lips are involved here. But what is the difference between oo and oo? Oo, it is more relaxed. Okay? And if you notice the lips also, they are more relaxed. But when you are saying va, they are closer, that is one thing, when you are saying va. And also, the sides of the lower lip, especially, the lower lips, they are somewhat in a different shape or compressed when I say va. Yeah? Lower lip, sides of the lower lip. Yeah? Va. So here there is, that's why there is a slight contact. That's why, because the lips are closer than when we are saying oo, and there is a slight compression here. This comes under as a, this is counted as a ishat prishta and also a consonant. Obviously it is a consonant because there is a sparshanam ishat prishta. Ishat prishta means there is slight contact. So here all they are consonants, vyanjanam, and they are their sthana and karana are like this, and the primary effort is ishat sprishta, abhyantar prayatna, internal effort is ishat sprishta, that is slight contact. And external, as far as the external effort goes, what is the external bahya prayatna? They are samvara, nada, ghosha, and they are obviously alpa prana. There is no much breath, low breath.
So one point here. When we say ya, it's almost the same format as if saying he plus a.
Exactly.
Similarly, what? Yeah.
Exactly.
What sounds like u plus a.
Hmm?
Wa sounds like u plus a.
Exactly. That is perfectly correct. So, one second.
Regarding ra, it is the tongue is not pariveshtikam.
Yeah, tongue is pariveshtitam. It should be pariveshtitam. It should roll ra. It should roll up ra.
Ra, it is not twisting.
So please twist it. So twist it. Ra. I mean, ra is twist means what? We are not going to completely do it upside down, but it is going to a little bit, and the tip of the tongue has to the bottom side of the tip of the tongue. Ra, 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 ra. Bottom side of the tip of the tongue has to come very near, because it is a Ishat Prishta, there is no complete contact, as if you are pronouncing T. So when you are pronouncing T, T, so if I make a gap there, T, R, R, little bit gap, there is, it feels like almost it hits and comes back. T, R, R.
Slight twist.
Yeah. Now coming back to this, Suresh Mahodaya, that is perfectly the thing that I wanted to say. So, when we are looking at why are they similar to this ya is similar to e. Sthana is same. The stha and kanana, tadu and jihva madhya, for e here, as if it is an ink, say let's say ink, ink, is same as yes, why? The sthana and karana, they are same, but it is reverse here. In e, the jihva is approaching the talu. And now let's say a here. What is happening with a? A we saw, A is a sandhakshara, it is a combination of A and E. A and E. So it starts with A and it changes to E position, that becomes A. Now if we take the ya position, ya pronouncing is reverse. So we start with E and quickly change it to A, then it will sound like ya. Ya. It is fast. I mean, if you do it slowly, then you will see what is it. This sounds different. So because it is happening quickly, yeah. So that is the pulling back from E inwards. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is why these sthanams are similar there. Sthanam and karanam, they are same for E and ya also. And same thing if you take the va. In u, if you change from a to u, then it changes to o. But if you go va, you start from u, go back to a. Va, va. It's the reverse. Based on this principle, this is an important principle of sound combinations. And based on the principles, many sandhis are they will happen between different sounds. So when u comes after a, then it changes to o in some sandhis. But when o comes after u, it changes to va in some sandhis. Yeah? So these different sandhis are formed based on what comes first and what comes next. Now, ra.
Sanjeevji, I have a question.
Yeah.
between the V and the W. So we pronounce Vana or Vana.
Which one? Va.
Yeah. Vana or Vana. How we pronounce that?
Say that again. Va.
The W and the V, like Vana. Do we say Vana or Vana?
I'm not understanding the difference. Anybody can help?
I don't know. Is it a
Basically, V and
pronunciation? Yeah, V and W.
She asking a difference of the pronunciation of V versus W in English. So Bodha, when we write in Sanskritam, is it closer to V sound or W sound?
But no.
When we want
I think she's asking for V, is there any stress use? And V.
No. I would say it is W, closer to W. But instead of, my recommendation is, I would say it is closer to W. Va, like water, vana, va.
Oh, okay. So is there a V sound in Sanskrit? Va?
No va.
Okay.
But I would recommend practicing, that's fine, but practicing like starting from U sound and changing it to A sound.
Okay.
Don't add the don't add breath there. Vana.
U sound going to A sound. Okay.
Quickly, very quick.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, ya and va, that is clear, which have the relationship with E and U. Okay? They have the relation, they share similar sthana, same sthana and karana. Now, what about ra, la? Now, ra, we know it is the sthanam and karanam is here, crown and juhagra. So, similar to, let's say, E, so for ya, what we said, you start with E and change to A, okay? To make it, to sound it ya. Now for U, we said change it from U to A, wa. Then for ra also, is it possible to have a corresponding vowel? Okay? Let's see. So for ya, we are saying start with E and change to ya. So for ra, where do we start and where do we end? Ending is always A. That's what we are saying. Because in case of ya, we started with E and change it back to A. And same thing with va, start with U, change to A. Similarly, we have to start with some sound and change it to A quickly. Then we should be able to get ra. Okay? So what is that sound? Is there any corresponding vowel? Okay? This is because ra we have established it is a slight contact which is between murtha and underside of the tongue. That is a consonant. But is there a corresponding vowel? That is where this comes into picture. This. So this sthanam, as just like these other sthanam we have defined, corresponding, like where is this? No. For the ya, we have defined the sthanam as the same as E, right? Same as E, which is talu and juha madhya. And this also sthanam we have defined ostha, same as U. So similarly, the corresponding vowel for this has to have the same sthanam, that is murdha and pariveshtita juhagra, underside of the tongue. And then if we change that to A quickly, then we should have the ra. Okay? So let's say, because we know that the swaras are all vivrata, right? There is no contact. Okay? So let's try to do that to produce a vowel sounding sound.
Like r, to a,
Yeah.
a.
Yeah. So this is like more like, in English it is better because there are like say read, read, or root. Let's say root. So here there is very very less contact. Root. So root. So here we are bringing the tip of the tongue almost. There is no contact actually, because there is still a gap when I say root, right? There is no contact, root. But this is a different sound than when we say in the Sanskritam Rama, okay? Rama, right? Rama, Ra. When we say root, this is like a more subtle than Rama. So this is that ru sound here. Okay? This one in the vowel. Ru. This is a very controversial vowel here. Ru. Okay? Because actually some Shikshaa Granthas they say that this is not a complete vowel actually. There is, and it is true, because there is an element of ra here. Element of ra is there. So they define this as having a in the beginning and a at the end, both sides, and the ra element in between. It is not a pure vowel. That's how they define. However, it is still considered as in the list of vowels because the contact is much less. There's a lot of air in between. Root. When you say root, there's a lot of air in between there. So it is put in this list of the vowels. So again, if we come back to the same experiment where we are doing, this one. So when we change e to a, it changes to ya. So similarly, when we say that root, when we change it back to a, ra. So when you pull the tongue back from root, when you are saying ra, when you pull the tongue back, ra, then it changes to ra. Okay? That you can experience. So from when we are saying root, whatever the position of the tongue, the murdha is still the same. But we are trying to, when we are saying root, we are trying to push the air out because it is a vowel. It's a vowel. We are trying to push the air out. Root. But when we are saying that first syllable, the r, instead of pushing the air out, you pull the tongue back. Yeah? Then it changes to ra. Yeah? So that is similar to e changing to ya when we pull it back to a. So similarly, wa, u changing back to pulling back to a, changing to wa. Similarly, ru. So from the vowel, so we write it as ru in Devanagari. Sorry, not a good handwriting. So here, Devanagari it is written like this, ru. There is no equivalent English alphabet, but there are, as it is shown here, there is a transliteration available, like uppercase R. So that actually refers to the r sound, as if it is in a root or reed, where there is a lot of air. And this is a common vowel in a lot of Sanskrit words. So we'll have to be careful not to pronounce it as a ra, as a complete Vyanjanam. So even the Vyanjanam, as you see, Vyanjanam is classified as, what is its internal effort? It is internal effort. It is Ishat Sprishta. Still, it is slight contact. It is not complete contact, even for the ra. Just like ya, ra, la, va, they are also ishat sprishta. So ra is also ishat sprishta, slight contact. However, ru, there is a lot of air. There is a difference between the pronunciation of ra and ru. Ra, ru. So, and for example, even if you take the most common one, Krishna, we have Krishna, kru here, kru. So this should not be pronounced as Krishna. Kri is different, kru is different. And just like the other previous vowels we have seen, O has its elongated form, double the time, so A, E, double the time, E, like that. Ru also has its corresponding elongated form, double the time. Ru is a hrasva or short, Ru is dirgha, double the time. Obviously, the double the time also, there are many words in Sanskritam, like pitrunam, matrunam, like that. There are many words. Then, yeah, note this is
Runa is a double sound.
which one?
Runa.
No, Runa is single.
Runa.
No, single. Runa, single. Paswa. Runa, Rushi is single. You see how these sounds have been lost the correct pronunciation because of there is no equivalent lipi or the script in English, because you take the Rushi as you pronounce like a Rushi. Now, but because in English we write just RI because there is no English, so there is no English equivalent. So everybody is now calling it Rishi, Ri. Yeah? This has become Ri, actual Ri, like this. Yeah? And not only that, many Sanskrit experts who are in the Sanskrit domain, they also pronounce this wrongly. They pronounce this as Ri, actual Ri, which I think Vivekananda Mohdaya was talking earlier. Like where there is a matru, there is matru. So matru. So they just simply say matri, which is wrong. But possibly they know that it is wrong, but because they have been doing it for a long time, because that's how they are taught, they don't want to change it. See, but when it comes in between some words, they pronounce it correctly. I have observed that. So, for example, when it comes matru, so they say it. But when it is like independent matru, they still say it matri, pitri. Which is not the right way.
Lu, vowel and lu, vyanjan.
Which one? No. We'll get to lu now. Okay. So the next, okay, about yar, la, we are looking, where is that? Here. Now coming to la, just la, this is the Vyanjanam. La is Vyanjanam. So for example, what is the English word? Obviously love, la. And Sanskritam we have lava, right? Or lavana. Lavana, what is lavana?
Salt.
Salt.
Salt. And what is lava?
Is the name of Rama's son.
Lava is the brother of Kusha.
Yeah. He was named brother of Kusha. What is Kusha?
Is a grass.
Grass. So grass.
It's a grass.
He was named brother of Kusha because they are.
It's a grass.
Huh?
There is a grass called Kusha.
There is a grass called Kusha. This is a hard grass. Kusha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are twins. So Lava was named brother of Kusha. Lava is the end of the end part of the Kusha. The grass is called lava. And Kusha was the one who was born first. Though they were twins, one will come out first, right? So Kusha was first, Lava was the younger one. But anyway, they are named because of that relationship, Kusha, Lava. Anyway, so this la pronunciation is clear. So Abhyantara Prayatna is Ishat Sprushta, and these are Alpa Prana, and Bahya Prayatna is Samvara Nada Ghosha. Now, similar what we try to get a vowel from Ra, pulling the tongue back, what we'll get with La. If you pull the tongue back, La we know, this is easier than Ra, right? La we know that Tantanula Jufagra. La, similar to Tadadhana, there is no full contact. La, not as full contact. There is Ishat Sprushta. La, there is some contact. La. So, if we pull it back, La. So that change, that is put under this vowel. So that sound, which we are trying to push the air out, similar to Ru, we are trying to push the air out, and Ru, here also we are trying to push the air out, but the Sthanam and Karanam is same as La, which is Dantamula Jufagra, but there is lot of air, similar to Ru, there is a lot of air. The same thing, try to say La, but lot of air, Ru. And that when that Ru is pulled back, that should sound as La. That is the principle, right? We are applying. When we start with that vowel and pull it back to A, then it will turn into that corresponding Ishat Sprushta consonant. So Ru, pull it back, pull the tongue back, that changes to Ra. Similarly, Ru, pull the tongue back, that should change to La. So, if you are trying to put lot of air and push the air out, that is La. This is La. So, that is put under, that is considered under vowel. Similar to this is Shiksha Grantha do not consider this as a pure vowel. Just like A, E, U, they are pure. There is no contact at all. There is no element of any other Vyanjanam there. But whereas Ru, there is an element of Ra. Whereas in Ru, there is an element of La. However, because of their nature, of lot of air is there, lot of gap is there, they are still considered vowels. Examples in English, I do not know. It may not exist. In Sanskritam, there are very, very, very few words. This was retained only for only one or two words actually. The only popular word which is there is klipta. note again that the problem with the script here. Now, if you look at the script, how this ru is written, this is a big problem. I do not know right now why this particular symbol script is used for ru. I could have simply written like something else, right? I'll write it like this. I don't know why this example. Any other symbol. Because of this symbol, a lot of confusion has been created, and a lot of people pronounce it as, you know that, like la and then ra. Because for writing r, this is ru. There is first la vyanjanam and then this ru. To write that also we use the same symbol. But this symbol we have to is different. The pronunciation when it is a swara vowel is different. It is not r. Because when you say r, there is no. These are two distinct sounds. One is vyanjanam and another is different r sound. So this is not a sanyuktakshara or a compound sound here. This is a r sound, single sound, and it should be pronounced as r only. There is no ra or ra. In some similar to how many people pronounce r as re. Many people pronounce this as either this r or they pronounce it as re, like this, with this re. These both are wrong here. These have to be pure r, only one sound with slight touch, air being forced out, sthana and karana, you know that, dantamola and juhvagra. And one example is like I had written before, klupta. This is the klupta means arranged or decked or arranged, something. Klupta. So this is one example in the Laukika Sanskritam, or in Veda there could be more, which I am not familiar.
Sir, even something like Kala or Kalinga is written with that la, right?
No, that la is different. I'll come to that la differently, separately. This la is different. So the la you are talking, that is sound is different. This klupta, this is like la only, but this is more air there. More air. This is like la, more air. Klupta. In fact, I have not come across any other word as such for look. So there is, some people say lukara. You can say lukara. Lukara, obviously, you know what is kara. We have seen that akara, ukara, ikara. Kara is used after any sound to indicate the sound of that letter. Like akara means sound of a. Similarly, kakara means what is kakara? We have discussed this before, right? What is kakara? Anybody? Suresh Mohan?
End with ka.
Huh?
End with ka is kakara.
Not end with ka. Kakara means just the sound of ka.
Halantaka.
Yeah. Sound of vyanjanam ka. No sound of any other swara or vyanjana added to it. Just the sound of vyanjanam ka. Or what Vivekananda Mother is saying is halantaka. Halantaka is vyanjanam. So this ka sound is kakara. So if I write pakara, it is pa sound. Because as we have seen before, vyanjanams cannot be pronounced independently, right? They have to have some swara after them. So if you add a after this pa, then it becomes pa, like pa. So, but we cannot actually pronounce this Vyanjanam pa or Halanta pa independently. So for that, to refer to that sound, we say pakara. So my question is here, so what is this sound? What do you call this sound? With the kara?
Yakara? Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yakara?
Okay, what is this sound?
Rakara?
What is this sound?
Rikara?
No, this one.
Lakara?
Lakara.
Lakara.
What is this?
Lakara.
What is this?
Bakara?
Vakara.
Good. So, but however, traditionally, this ra, yeah, just like any other sound, we are to refer to any other sound, we are adding kara, kakara, ukara, 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 etc. But to refer to this sound,
Refer.
rakara should have been used. Yeah. So who said refer?
Anjali.
Namaste, Modi. Okay. So this is a special. Traditionally, it is called refa. Yeah? Refa, not rakara. But now the question is, why is it called refa? Because kara, the Shikshaa Grantha, they define this kara means it used for sound. They say they define it. There is a sutra in Shikshaa Granthas for kara, akara, ukara, anything. But for refa, they also say it is called refa traditionally, but they also give the reason. The reason is it's just like adding some humor in a very serious discussion. Like these are all serious, talking about what abhyanta prayatna, bahya prayatna, and with this like refa. Refa is like there are what these granthas say. There are another reason also. Refa while writing, there is this Shikshaa Granthas, obviously they never talk about writing. It's only sound, pronunciation. So this looks like let's take the right one. So refa, when you tear a cloth or a paper, the sound which comes out, which sounds like roar, okay? Like tearing sound. Rif, there is a Sanskrit kriyatanam or a verb called rifyate. Rif is a dhatu. Rif is tearing. So that is why it's called refa. Rifyate iti refaha. This is very interesting. This is something we thought, okay, so when we tear something like a cloth, especially that time, because there was no kagidam possibly, that so vastram, ifyate, when that sound comes, that is like a roar sound. Yeah? So the dhatu is rif, so that's why the tearing sound is refa.
So is it like a rest or something, or it's something different? I'm not quite sure why refa is different. Then why is it that way?
No, what is the question? That there is no effect on what we are talking about, the sound. Ra sound remains ra only. Okay? So there should not be any confusion about ra sound. Ra sound is like Rama only.
Okay.
But to refer to that
Can we say R is the root of Ra?
I think I confused unnecessarily.
Aham na janami katham. I don't know why Ra is referred as Refah rather than Rakara.
But just now I explained, is that not clear? No. Why is it called Refa?
I think so. I will confirm.
No. Confirm with what?
No, why it is called Refah?
No, I just now explained. Was that not clear?
Yeah, it was clear. Yeah, it was clear.
Yeah, can you explain that again?
It's the Refa is a dhatu. Its meaning is like a tearing something, and the sound when you produce when you tear a cloth or a paper, that sound refers to that meaning of the dhatu. That's why.
Yeah. The sound when we tear a cloth, what sound we hear? What kind of sound we hear? But the main thing is
yes.
Yeah, that is why this sound is referred as Refa.
Refa. Oh, yeah. Got it.
Whereas other sounds are referred with the Kara only. Yeah? Like Yakara, Lakara, Vakara, Gakara, Gakara, Ngakara, etc. All of them, including the vowels. Akara, Ukara, etc. The Ra also, technically, Rakara should have been there, right? Rakara is fine. Rakara. But traditionally, Rakara is never used to refer to Ra sound. Refa is used. Refa.
Correct.
Instead of saying Rakara, we call that sound as Refa.
Correct.
Why is it called Refa? I was explaining that. I think if you are confused, just forget it. I think Anjali beginning got it. I was referring to Dhatu. If you are not familiar with the Dhatu, forget it. I was just saying because there is a Sanskrita Kriya Padam called, how do we write it? Rifyate. Rifyate, Rifyate is a verb which means tears. 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 Like a cloth tearing. So, the sound which comes when tearing a cloth, it sounds like a roar sound. That is why this is called Refa. Traditionally, instead of calling it Rakara. Okay. The last.
What is the meaning of klupta?
Klupta means arranged or positioned.
I could not get.
Arranged or positioned. For example, if there is a diamond, example is suppose a diamond is arranged in a certain way, or it is arranged, or it is decked, it is put in a crown. So we can say that Mani, the diamond, is a klupta inside the kirita. Okay, so the last one, Shikshaa Saha. Shikshaa Saha. Now these one are kept separate from this 5x5 matrix, similar to Yaralava, because Yaralava are Ishat Sprishta, they are not complete contact. Now what about Shikshaa Saha? Sha, example for Sha, in Sanskritam there are many Sha, right? For example, Sha what? Shara. Shara. This Sha or Shayana. Shayana means sleeping. Sha. In English, I don't know, Sha. Like what? Sha.
Shark or shark.
Yeah, like sharp. Yeah, like sharp. So sharp, the position is, this position is same as, Lakshmikant Mode, mute please. Where is the share going there? Mute please. Losing time. Everybody mute. Share puts here. I'm going to put the share here. Sorry, I don't know why people don't mute. Please mute. Hello. Karta Mahoday, can you mute please?
Yes, I can.
Can you mute? Mute. Share.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. Share. The sthana is and karana is same. Like when we say sha or like in a shara. And for the next one sha, here the sthana and karana is the same. Okay. So this is only transliteration. If you are familiar with the Devanagari script, please use this Devanagari. But what is the pronunciation difference here? Sha and sha. Example for sha.
Sha is talavya, sha is murdhanya.
Yeah. Example, udaharanam.
Shat, murdhanya.
Shat. Whereas sha, like in shara, is
the talavya.
the sthanam is different here. Sthanam and karanam is different. When we say sha, again same similar to saying ya or cha, the jihva madhya, middle top of the tongue, that is approaching talu. Again here there is no complete contact. As we say sha, there is no complete contact as in cha, yeah. But there is no complete gap also, because talu and jihva madhya there is a vowel called e. There is a relaxed complete gap. A sha, there is little bit contact. How close? Is it as close as ya? No, there is more gap. Okay? This is what we are going from sprushta. These are all sprushta, full contact, towards more gap. So ya has slight contact and sha has less contact, okay? Lesser contact than ya. Okay? So that is why if you look at the internal effort here, it is called Ishat Vivruta. So we are progressing from Sprushta to Ishat Vivruta. Now from Sprushta we got to Ishat Sprushta, like Yara Lava, and then the next Sha is Ishat Vivruta, slight open. From slight contact there is more openness, slight open, lesser contact than Ya, Ishat Vivruta. So that is put in this sha here. The position is same. Same thing with sha here, but the position you see the murdha and jihvagra. So see, this is similar to pronouncing ta, tha, da, dha, na, but there is a gap. There is a gap here. Sha. Similar to ra, but there is more gap. Sha. Like when we say shat. So all those who are not familiar with the Indian pronunciation, this is important to know. The difference between pronouncing sh and sha, which should be clear if you understand this sthana and karanam. Because as you pronounce this cha, like in chat, okay? So that it changes to sh. Okay? Put more air there. Also, what is the speciality of this sh and sh? When we say sh and sh, there is a friction. They are also called fricative in English and some other European languages. Right? There is also a hot air is coming out. As you can, it's like saying shh. Like when I say shh, there is a hot air comes out. You can experiment with it. Your mirror in front of holding in front. When you hold the mirror, the air will condense there. When you say sh, sh, yeah? Sh, sh. Yeah? So the difference in pronunciation sh, sh is same. The sthana and karana. The talu, just like cha, cha, sh should be there. They can, but when you take the jufagra, the bottom side of the tongue, and put it into murdha, just like ta, but with the hot air and gap, sh, sh. So, if you can hear it, when I say sh, shara, shankara, sh, so I am using this sh, shankara, sh, shankara. But when I change it to shat, sh, 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 this is sh, 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 shat. So this sh also appears in Krishna, right? Krishna. So this we should use this sh, so which is murdha, so with the bottom of the tongue, or the upside, not the complete bottom, but tip of the bottom of the tip of the tongue. Krishna. If you are not using the bottom of the tip of the tongue, if you are keeping the tongue straight and trying to touch it up, then it changes to sh. So we should not be saying it krish, krish. Because there is an a here afterwards, it naturally changes to the sh. You know, we can't use the sh here. Sh sound doesn't come here. Krishna, Krishna. Whereas in shankara or shara, it is easy to pronounce it as a straight sh, shara. Yeah. Then the last two here, sa. Sa will fit where? Sa will fit here. Dantamula and Jivagra, that is the sthana and karana, which is similar to ta, tha, da, dhana. Sa. Sa. Again, there is a lot of gap. Okay? Compared to la, there is more gap, but compared to ta, tha, da, dhana, there is more gap. It is not completely open. There is a hissing sound coming there because it is trying to touch, but there is no touch. Sa, sa, sa. So what is the example here? Udaharanam, Sanskritam is one of the sa, starting with sa. Sa, Sanskritam is one example. Or sara, simple example is sara. In English, we have a lot of words, right? What is the example? Like sun. Sun. This is simple. Maybe for sugar, you may use, I think, sugar for this sh. I don't know whether this sh exists, because this sthana karana itself is a problem in English. This sthana karana is not there. This sh, make sure that you use this sthana and karana. So this sun, in Sanskritam we have a lot of...
use a word like shun. Shun.
Yeah.
Shun in English, S-H-U-N.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how exactly they pronounce it. I don't know whether they use this sh or this sh. Because generally there are no words with the ta, like exactly how we pronounce it. But even how we, in the sense, Indian pronunciation, like even if you say Todd, so that it is more like in between this murdha and danta. That is the There is no dantamula also, there is no murtha also. Both these sounds are pronounced in between, like even if, like say T. So even now when I say T, it is in between this dantamula and murtha, T. But this ta is totally different. If I use this ta and say E, it sounds like T, not T, T. There is a little difference, but the sthana and karana is changed. So this sthana karana is important here. Sh, sh. And
Mahodaya, when they say rush, R-U-S-H.
Yeah, maybe we can ask them. Somebody else can help to who exactly.
I think there is more stress on the sh in rush.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, rush. Correct. Rush. Rush. That changes to the top, right? Yeah. The rush. Yeah, that's a good example as far as I can understand. Rush for this sh. And for ya, ra, la, sorry, sha, sha, sa, what is the sthana karana we know? What is the effort, primary effort? Ishat vivrata. Okay? Ishat vivrata. And what is the bahya prayatna? They are shwasa. They don't, there is no nada. Yeah? There is no reverberation. They are muted. So there is vivara, shwasa, aghosha. Sha, sha, sa. There is no reverberation like ya, la. There is reverberation, but there is no reverberation here. Yeah? So, and these three are mahaprana, not alpa prana. These are mahaprana because there is a more breath in them. And then the last one, we can just cover this ha. This ha sound is a special sound. Okay? Where is the ha fitting there? What is the sthana karana? Sthana karana. This is not oshtha. This comes here now. Top. Hanumula, jihvamula. Okay? Ha. Just like sound. Okay? Compare this to sound. More than ka, kha, ga, gha. Where there is ka, kha, ga, gha, there is clear touch of the back of the tongue there. Where there is very natural, clean sound. Ha is similar to sound. Okay? So what is the difference between and ha? Example for ha. What are the example for ha? Like hat or hut. Hut. In Sanskritam we have hara.
Hema.
Hema, hara. So a lot of words are there. So ha. So what is the difference between ha and One thing is that ha, when we say it is similar to yeah, what is the difference?
Agosha.
What does that mean? There is no breath. Okay? There is no breath as in ha. Okay? As in ha. Ha has a breath. Yeah? Ha. Whereas there is no breath. So this is mahaprana for one thing. Mahaprana, there is a breath. Obviously mahaprana, alpaprana, they do not apply to the vowels. But still there is a difference between and ha here. There is a ha, there is a mahaprana, and actually when you say ha, there is a nada. Ha, hold it, ha, there is a nada. If you say it without nada, then it is a different sound, which we'll see in the next class tomorrow. Okay? Different sound. But ha, when you say pure ha, like hara, ha, hold that kantha or your throat with your fingers. You should feel that sound ha. So this is falling under samvara nada ghosha. Samvara Nada Ghosha. Okay. So note that Sha, Sha, Sa, they are Shwa, Vivara, Shwa, Vivara, and what is that? Vivara, Shwasa, Aghosha. Vivara, Shwasa, Aghosha. They are muted. And they are Mahaprana. Note that. And here, her, he is also Mahaprana like this. But the difference is, unlike this Shashasa, this has Nada. So it falls under Samvara Nada Ghosha. Whereas these are Vivara Shwasa Aghosha. So that is how this is differentiated. Ha. And that Karana and Sthana comes here on the top. Ha. Because it is on back. Like you say hat, ha, or hara, ha, ha, ha. That reverberation is there, ha. But still there is this sha, sha, sa, ha. Why they are kept separate here? Because they need, why are they in one line? Only the common factor is, what is the common factor? Sha, sha, sa, we saw the common factor, they are Shwasa, Aghosha, and Vivara, and her is, but not Shasa, it is not Shasa, it is Nada, and this is, all are Mahaprana, that is one, but why are they, but there are other Mahapranas also here, right? So what is making them common here? One common is, they are, where is it?
Isat Sprishta.
Yes, Ishat Vivruta.
Vivruta.
Yeah, Ishat Sprishta is Yaralava. Ishat Vivruta. This is more open than Yaralava compared to Shashasa. But Ishat Vivruta is one classification, and these are also called Ushmana. Yeah? I'll just say simple. Ushmana. Ushmana. Yeah? Ushmana means, in English they are fricative. Yeah? Ushma means hot. They are hot consonants. Hot means what? Hot air. Yeah? Hot air comes out when we are saying this. Sha, sha, sa, ha. Hot air means that you can use the mirror and see. The air will condense when you say sha, 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 sa, ha. They are called Ushmana Varnaha. So that is why they are kept separate on a separate line here. Ushmana Varnaha. Okay, so I think we can stop here today.
Swaha yete samaye punamilama.
Sure, Punarmilama, Namaskara. If you can, if possible, please join tomorrow. And we are having a regular
class. Sure. No problem.
Mahodaya.
Dhanyavada, Namaskara.
Dhanyavad Mahodaya.
Dhanyavad Mahodaya.
Sanjeev ji.
Sir, tomorrow you are going to a new chapter?
Yeah, new chapter means we have to cover the Anuswara, Visarga, and probably Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita.
Okay.
And compound letters.
Okay.
Guruji, I won't be able to join because for us it's a week beginning in.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. You can listen.
Yeah.
Listen to the recording.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Same here. I have a class. I can join.
Okay. Thank you.
I have questions, Sanjeev.
Thank you, Subhadin.
Yeah.